It is finals week. It is great to have your company once again on the NTFA Footy Show with thanks to DLM Machinery. Our big night coming up in terms of content on the show. Our club in focus this week is we're heading out to the Meander Valley Suns. We'll be joined by a couple of special guests here in the studio. Also, we're going to check women's football. A big weekend of finals coming up. Aaron Viney, the coach of South Launceston women's team, will be in action this Saturday. He'll join us also in the studio. We're going to preview the big grand final coming up on King Island this weekend as well. And our Division 1 men's MVP, he wasn't able to be here in person the other night, but he's here with us tonight on the Footy Show, and we'll make a special presentation to John McKenzie a little bit later as well. But as we do each week, now it is time for our photo of the week with thanks to our great friends at Little Rivers Brewing Company up in Bridport and Scottsdale. And this week, the photo was sent in by Peter Haley. Now, Peter captured this shot of the Perth Football Club after their victory against Old Launcestonians in the NTFA Division 1 elimination final out at Perth. That was absolutely perfect conditions. Went out there to have a look at this game. Great day out there. Over 1,000 people through the ground. Significance of this as well, this is Perth's first finals appearance since 2017, and they got the win and are through to another week of football action in the finals this weekend. So thanks to Peter for shooting that one through. So speaking of finals, it is the opening weekend of finals in the men's and women's Premier Division. So let's have a look at the schedule, what we've got coming up. Firstly, on Saturday at the Youngtown Oval, big day out there, 3 matches coming up. The under-18s, we've got Georgetown are taking on St. Pat's. That game is getting underway at 9 a.m. That'll be followed at 12:30 by the reserves clash. That is South Launceston taking on Longford, and then the senior match, that is at 2:30 p.m. This will be an absolute cracker. South Launceston taking on Rochalee, and as I said, that's going to be an absolute beauty, I think, because these two sides finishing in the top 4. First to fourth was only separated by 1.5 wins, with Hillwood finishing on top, South Launceston, Rochalee and Longford. Bracknell also in the elimination final. So you probably caught on that graphic as well. The elimination final is out at Longford. That is on Sunday. And we've got the under-18s at 10 a.m. Old Scotch are taking on Longford. And then we've got the reserves in the men's. Hillwood are playing Bracknell. That is at 12 p.m. And one of the biggest rivalries in NTFA football, it is going to be Longford and Bracknell in the seniors out at Longford. There'll be a big crowd out there for that one. 2 p.m. that gets underway. There's also women's football. We'll give you the details of that match in the Premier Division as well. That's going to be happening at Youngtown in our women's segment a little bit later on in the show. But it is also finals action the second week in Division 1. Matches are going to be played at the NTCA ground and also out at Lilydale. So let's check out the matches that are coming up. Firstly, the second semi-final day down at the NTCA cricket ground. We've got the reserves match is going to be St. Pat's taking on Old Scotch at 12 o'clock. And then that'll be followed by the big game. 2 big rivals. They met in the grand final last year. St. Pat's, the reigning premiers, taking on Old Scotch, who finished undefeated on top of the table this year. That will be an absolute beauty at 2 o'clock, as I said, down at the NTCA ground. Meanwhile, on Sunday, out at Lilydale, it will be the first semi-final. So sudden death, reserves, Old Launcestonians taking on Lilydale at 12 o'clock. And then the senior game at 2 p.m. will pit Lilydale at home taking on Perth, of course, who defeated Old Launcestonians last week in the elimination final. So a massive Saturday and Sunday of Premier Division football in the men's and women's. As we said, we'll cover off on the women's games in our segment very, very shortly. So that's the action coming up. Time for a quick break. We're going to get stuck into things very shortly with our special guest here on the NTFA Footy Show. Don't go anywhere.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
And with thanks to Harrison Agents, it's time for another Club in Focus this week on the NTFA Footy Show. And this week, well, we're heading just out of town a little bit. Their women's team have had an impeccable year, undefeated in the NTFA Division 1 comp. And their men's side, well, they've signed on their coach for another year. We'll talk about that very shortly, but it's a pleasure to welcome Steve Saltmarsh and Emma Groves. Welcome to the show, guys. Good to have you.
Us.
Thanks, Rick.
Let's go back a little bit to just over 10 years ago when the Meander Valley Suns were formed. Now, I was saying off camera, you may be the only football team to have actually won a premiership in its first year. It wasn't the NTFA, it was the Leven Association, is that right? And I know we've got a photo of it, will pop up, but tell us a little bit about those early days, I guess for people that aren't aware, how the club was formed.
In 2012, obviously, there's some people in the area, the Westbury area, that wanted to get a football club going again, keeping the background of the Westbury Hagley football clubs,
Sure.
but creating a new club rather than getting an old one going. And they pulled together a side from heap of locals and won a flag in their first year, which was fantastic. So
amazing, and it's very important to the area, of course, as well. Obviously, with a lot of rich football history out that way with Westbury and of course Hagley in the past as well, and of course still maintained with Bracknell and Deloraine up the road. So it is really important to the community, isn't it?
Oh, it is, absolutely. Yeah, I'd say we have Past Players Day. We're probably lucky we get past players from two clubs, the Hagley and Westbury boys, and I think they had some pretty good rivalries in the past. So they have some good conversations on the day.
Yes, indeed. Emma, the women's team, it's been a great season for the club, undefeated, just the one draw, of course, against your big rivals, Deloraine, who you're obviously going to meet again. The development of the team as well, on the back of obviously making the grand final last year, but to continue that development, you must be pretty proud of the girls and how they've continued. Yeah,
very proud. I mean, we've pretty much kept the main core group of what we had last year and just picked up heaps of new players from all around Launceston and surrounds. Just goes to show what sort of a culture we're building here at the Meander Valley women's team. Absolutely.
We'll show a few photos as well, because I know you've got some great action shots out there at Westbury. I think this one was against Georgetown. But heading into the finals, how are the troops feeling?
Really excited, actually. Yeah, we've been a bit unlucky this year with having such big gaps between some of our games, but it's sort of prepared us for the 2-week bye that we've had, and we've been really getting ready on the track for this weekend's match.
And how are you feeling with that game coming up? That's obviously going to be a big contest. It always is against.
No, it always is against Deloraine.
Deloraine down the road. So, but looking forward to it, no doubt.
No, excited. Yep, ready to get back out on the track.
The rivalry we know is obviously you get that from town to town, particularly in that area. It's like schools playing each other. But they've obviously improved a lot as a club. They're quite a new team. So where do you think you guys may be able to maybe exploit a little bit? Where do you think you could possibly have the advantage to get through the grand final?
Good question. I mean, most of their team is quite young, coming up from their unders teams or poached from the high school and those sorts of areas as well. We've got lots of depth and age and experience within our team across all areas. Yeah.
It's a great segue into my next question, because Steve, we talk about the junior pathway. This is pretty big for Meander Valley and very important for the future, of course, for men and women, boys and girls coming through. But talk a little bit through the Auskick program, because you've got great support in that area.
Oh yeah, look, our Auskick's run for a few years now. But Alex Wadley took it on this year, past president, past player. He's boosted the numbers to about 26 Auskickers this year in the Westbury Hagley area, which was fantastic numbers. Turn up to training of a Thursday night and there's kids running around everywhere. But the amount of girls that are in our Auskick program has been phenomenal, and I think that's on the back of our girls team. They love coming and watching the girls team. So that's been really, really terrific, the Auskicks.
Fantastic.
Auskickers.
Just finally, obviously for the men, it's been a rough couple of years or so on the field, results-wise, but some brighter signs towards the back end of the year, would you say, as well? And obviously you've signed on your coach and I guess a number of players as well. So does it give you a bit of confidence?
Look, our coach has signed on for another couple of years. He can see a bright future with we've got a really young group, and they started to get quite competitive towards the end of the year. And I think going forward into next year, you're going to see quite a competitive Suns outfit, which will be really good. Yes, because we've had a couple of lean years, but we're certainly building something now.
And culturally, the club must be pretty strong, because there'd be a lot of players probably get down the dumps and they might think, oh, well, we'll go somewhere else, or look for some success. But do you think that's a really good sign for the club, that they want to stick around and be a part of the future? They can see good things on and off the field?
I think so, and that's something we've built for the last 2 or 3 years. We've been really strong on, and it goes back to the Thursday night before our last game. We were playing Scotch, who hadn't been beaten all year. We hadn't won a game all year, and we had nearly 40 guys on the track running around training, and 30 of the girls. Like, there was numbers everywhere. So I think that comes back to the culture off field, that they just like being about the club. So. Yeah, it's really good.
Good stuff. No doubt pre-season will probably start fairly early then for the boys, and the girls will get a bit longer off because they're going so well.
Well, we'll see. Leave that to the coaches.
Hey, Steve, Emma, thanks for joining us. Good luck this weekend. It's
Thank
a big
you.
game, and obviously a spot in the grand final. UTAS Stadium in a couple of weeks' time would be the place to go, but we wish you well. Thanks for being part of it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Rick.
Right, that is Meander Valley Suns, our club in focus, with thanks to Harrison Agents. Stick with us when we come back. It is women's football. We'll have the South Launceston coach, Aaron Viney, with us.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to the NTFA Footy Show. Time to check out women's football now, with thanks to our partners at Cleanaway. Premier Division finals action gets underway this weekend in the NTFA. And, well, this club, they've had a great year. They got promoted from Division 1, and in the Premier Division, they're playing finals, and their coach is Aaron Viney, who's been good enough to join us. Aaron, good to see you, mate.
All right, thanks for the invite.
How are you enjoying the role as women's coach up there at Youngtown?
It's going really well. It's obviously a bit different coming from coaching men to women. The communication's a little bit different. The knowledge from the girls is a bit different, but they're really good girls. They're always keen to learn, and they're excited about it, and they're a really good bunch of girls that enjoy each other's company, which makes it pretty easy on me.
And I guess you've got a great leadership group as well, with Hayley Bruard, etc., who played obviously a 50th game a little bit earlier in the season, and you've got the nucleus of a really good team, but also some great junior talent coming through.
Yeah, we have. We've got a really good mix. We've got those girls that probably took up footy in 2018 when they come into the competition. Now they've had those 5 years and got them 50, 60 games under their belt. But then I think during the year we've had about 7 or 8 girls that have played in our junior side over the last 2 years. So the development from the under-17s is really pushing through to senior level now, and that's something that's going to continue even with our under-14s that are coming through as well. So the future's looking pretty bright.
And we've got a photo of some of the girls that you blooded through the course of the season as well that will pop up in a moment. But talk to us a little bit about this junior pathway, because it's been so good at South Launceston, boys and girls, for such a long period of time, and the fact that you're able to retain these players and blood them into senior, that pathway is starting to really reap some rewards now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You've only got to look at the NTJFA Grand Finals on Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday. I think there's 6 or 7 sides that they're going to be representing the club. So we've always had a strong junior pathway, and it's just continuing. And with the girls now, the girls have been playing footy for a fair while now. So we get the girls that are 17, 18. They've been playing since they were 10 or 11. So their skills, they're just like young boys that have come through Auskick and stuff like that. So they haven't really had to make the change. It's all they've known, playing junior footy, and hopefully we can just continue that coming through.
Yeah, it's terrific. And there's a photo there. I think we've got about 7 of them who started off their senior, got to go at seniors a little bit earlier in the year as well. So it's testament to the football club, I guess, as well, in terms of the fact that you're able to not only have the pathway, but retain these players. And of course, moving forward, we know the future of football and the way it's going to go, that is absolutely vital for clubs that want to play at the highest level, that you've got that pathway going right through boys and girls.
Yeah, definitely. And with especially with the under-17 girls, they're the ones we really got to have the relationship with, and we've had some training sessions with them. We've invited them to a sort of a match day with us, so they sat in on our meetings. We went and watched them play finals the other week. So we're starting to build a relationship with that, because there's probably about 5 girls that will step up next year, and we've just got to keep the retention of those young girls, because that's our future.
It's been a great year, as we said, obviously promoted after winning the premiership in Division 1 last year, and now you've got finals football. You're up against Old Scotch. We'll bring the details. They beat you a couple of times earlier in the year, but you must take a lot of confidence from the last time you met, because it ended in a draw. So what are you expecting this weekend?
Yeah, the first game, we really challenged them first game. They got a goal late and got us by 3 points, and then the middle game, they really got away from us. But our last game about 5 weeks ago, when we actually played some really good footy we probably have since then, about over the last 6 or 7 weeks, and we got the draw with them now. So I think the girls have built confidence every single time, so they're really looking forward to Saturday.
Be brilliant. So there's the details for all our viewers. 10:55 this Saturday up at the Youngtown Oval. It should be an absolute cracker. The Premier Division first semi-final, essentially elimination final, but I guess with the top 4, they call it the first semi-final. We'll take a look at the other game coming up. That's at the NTCA ground, and that is the Division 1 second semi-final, and that's Meander Valley and Deloraine. This should be an absolute cracker as well, because they've drawn as well during the course of the season. Meander being the benchmark, undefeated for the season, but Deloraine, I've said this a couple of times, probably the most improved club I've seen throughout the course of the season across both divisions from where they've come from probably a year ago, and only quite new into the comp as well. So it's exciting for women's footy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And if we run with the relegation, one of those sides, more than likely one of those sides will be coming up next year, and they'll be in the position that we were. So they'll probably keep a close eye on us, and they sort of know what they've got to get to for next year.
Exactly. And just finally, have you found that the promotion relegation, is that something you're a fan of?
Yeah, I do. I really like it, because last year, the girls probably felt that they should have been in Premier Division. We're in Division 1 just with how we finished in 2021.
Yes.
So right from day one last year, their goal was to win the premiership, get up into Premier League like we are now. And now we're up here. Our main goal is not to go back. Like, now we've worked hard to get here. This is where we want to stay and continue and build on from this season, really.
Terrific. Well, look, it's going to be a big day. Good luck to the girls. Good luck to you on Saturday, but also a big day for the club, of course, with the men playing a big qualifying final against Rochalee. That should be an absolute belter as well.
Yeah. It's the men's competition is unbelievably close this year. I reckon any of those top 5 sides on their day can beat anyone. So our boys are pretty lucky. They've got the second chance to get the first final at home, and luckily for the girls, we sort of reap the rewards from it as well.
Yeah,
so that's pretty handy for us, personally.
Good luck. Thanks for coming in, Aaron. Good to have you on the show.
All right, no worries, Rick. Thanks for having me.
It's Aaron Viney joining us from South Launceston Footy Club. Thanks to Cleanaway. That's our women's focus. When we come back, a lot more for you. Don't go anywhere.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to the NTFA Footy Show. It is great to have you company. Of course, a couple of nights ago, we had the Bogues MVP presentations, and one of our winners, unfortunately, wasn't able to be here. He was working very hard interstate, but I'm very pleased to say that John McKenzie, who took out the Division 1 men's best and fairest, is back home, and he'll be resting up, getting ready for a big finals campaign. But John, welcome. Good to have you with us. Congratulations, first of all. Outstanding season for you personally in a very good side. Did you expect this?
No, I didn't. I've been really lucky this year, probably more so than other years, to be able to put nearly a full season on the park this year. So just really trying to be as consistent as we could, and we've got a great coaching and great playing group surrounding us at the moment. So it makes your job a lot easier when you've got that support.
Well, today's all about you, mate, not the Old Scotch Football Club. They'll do their stuff in a couple of weeks, but for you, we're very pleased to provide, with thanks to Bogues, a cheque for $500. That one is yours.
Thank you.
And of course, also the Bogues MVP medallion. We'll pop that one around you. But you know, you're an Old Scotch man at heart. I mean, you must be very proud with how the club continues to develop, and of course in the junior space and in the women's space as well, playing finals football. The club's seems to be in a really good spot.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I think you can put it down to depth. And I think now with the pathway with the under-18s, the continued strength of the women's program, it's just really going from strength to strength and being there now for 3 years. I put down, I guess, our successful year this year, having the depth of players to come in and fill a role. I think on average, most AFL clubs in a premiership year play about 32 to 35 players throughout the year. And I think, we've definitely done that. And we have, a lot of people stepping up to take on the challenge. So it's really exciting.
It's been a dominant year for the men, undefeated, of course, and probably in everyone's eyes, red-hot favourites. But finals football can change very quickly. You've got St Pat's, obviously the reigning premiers. They'll be hungry. You've got this great rivalry with them, and Lilydale can never be underestimated also. So do you feel, is there a sense of self-belief and confidence that this year could be a premiership, or how do you sort of build it up?
There's definitely, confidence and definitely belief. That's not to say it's not a hard road ahead, and there's still a lot of water to go under the bridge over the next few weeks. But all we can do is take it week by week, and a big challenge, this week against St Pat's, and they obviously have it over us from last year. So we're excited for the challenge. How
important is it this time of year to try and take advantage? Because had the week off, rested. Getting another week off ahead of the grand final, is that a real key factor, do you think, at this time of year? Because it is a long year. It's been a long winter.
I think more so for the older players like myself. I definitely appreciate an extra week off. So I think any team will take a bye leading into a finals campaign, and then the double bye as well if we're lucky enough to win this week. So it's definitely an advantage, and it gives our players a bit of time to rest and prepare.
You definitely don't want to do it the hard way, do you? And make all the supporters in the team nervous again by having to front up for a preliminary finals.
Yeah. And it's important that we've got all our teams there as well. And at the moment, we have 4 teams, in the finals throughout the finals campaign now. And it's all just a matter of keeping everyone going and keeping the teams in for as long as we can. Hopefully all there in the day in September.
Yep, absolutely. It's only a couple of weeks away. John, congratulations again personally. You've had a great career with the club, and I know one of the favourites in the NTFA, but for you personally, pretty convincing winner too in the end for the season in a team laden with a lot of good players. It's a great reflection on you. So well done for what you've done, and good luck this weekend against the old enemy. It should be a cracking game as well, but congratulations on behalf of everyone at the NTFA.
Thanks, Rick. Cheers.
John McKenzie, the Division 1 MVP, with thanks to Bogues. And of course, we've got all the finals action coming up this weekend, as we went through a little bit earlier. All right, we're going to turn our attention finally on the program to one of the most unique football competitions in Tasmania, and that is the King Island Football Association. Here's some of the highlights from the matches over there. Have a look at the ground. It's absolutely magnificent. The fence looks sensational as well, and it is the grand final coming up this Saturday over there in King Island. We've got the junior and senior grand finals. The juniors are getting underway at 12:15 p.m, and that is going to be Grassy taking on a combined North and Curry team. And then at 2:30 p.m, it's the senior grand final. Grassy are taking on Curry in that grand final as well. Now, if you do want to watch it, you can watch it on YouTube, King Island TV it's called, or you can also search on the King Island Facebook page, the King Island Football Association Facebook page, for all of the details there. That is coming up, as we said, next weekend. This weekend, rather. Mount Stanley, they actually were part of the competition. We got a picture of them way back in the day when it was a 4-team comp. It is now a 3-team competition on King Island. But it is a very unique competition. Jan van Rooswijk is... he pretty much runs the show over there. He does an outstanding job with his team of volunteers. It's a great competition, and we're going to catch up with Jan next week to reflect on the season. But if you can, tune in and watch it. It's a great competition to watch, the King Island Football Association Grand Final. Click on the King Island TV on YouTube, or you can check out their Facebook page. All right, well, that is the end of a big show, big week. Of course, we had the MVP a little bit earlier in the week here on the NTFA Footy Show. Plenty of great finals action coming up. Crowds were up about 20% on last year for the first week of the finals. So great football action. Big weekend coming up Saturday and Sunday. Get out there, send us through your photos, and we'll catch you next week here on the NTFA Footy Show with thanks to DLM Machinery.